fix that.
Thank you very much. You seem to be quite keen not to be pinned down too much on the detail, but to talk in broad brush terms. But what is the legal basis, for example, for removing indefinite leave to remain from people who've already been granted it, many of whom will have jobs, lives, family here? And care homes, restaurants, hotels, the NHS are already struggling to fill vacancies with exactly the kind of workers that you would be targeting. Are you happy to further damage those sectors? And how do you expect them to be able to afford to pay for the additional levy to train equivalent British workers?
We've given you full details. None of the 800,000 plus that came here under the Boris wave that will be available to apply for indefinite leave to remain over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, none of them will be given indefinite leave to remain. None of them will be given access to the UK's benefit system, and none of them will be able to bring dependents. That, I think, is quite a lot of very exact policy detail. In terms of staff that are necessary, and I do repeat the point that mass unskilled migration has driven, in many, many cases, the minimum wage to become the maximum wage. Under our proposals, would pay go up? Yes, it would go up a bit, and I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Would our proposals help train British people for jobs? It would. But let Zia reiterate how the visa scheme would work for where there are genuine labour shortages.
Yeah, so firstly, again, the premise of your question is everybody who is here on ILR is working, and actually, as we've already pointed out, that the opposite is the truth. Now, there are people who are on ILR who are contributing significantly to this country. We're not disputing that. That's why we are introducing this 5-year renewable visa, albeit with a materially higher salary threshold, so that the people you're referring to, who are adding a lot of value to the country, and fiscally, on a net basis, will be able to stay. That's totally fine, and they will have a path to citizenship. With regards to, for example, care workers, I've already referred to this, they would be inside that ASSV category, acute skills shortage visa. But we want to emphasize, it will be a finite number, it will be capped, it will not be open to abuse, and to the degree that employers benefit from that visa, they will have to fund a program to train British workers. I want to reiterate, the fact that this doesn't happen currently is the reason why we have had open borders now for so many years. We are giving business. Look, I want to make the other point too, which is, look, if we're serious about saying we're going to cut net immigration to zero, we're going to embark on deporting people who are here illegally, we're going to stop the abuse of our welfare system, yes, there will be some businesses who do have to pay more for that labour. There are 6.5 million British people on universal credit, which is primarily an out-of-work benefit, and only a third of the British people who are on benefits are actively looking for work. Now, we're not going to claim this is some super simple problem to solve, but we are deadly serious about solving it, and it will never be solved if there is a tap for unlimited low-skilled immigration.
Simeon Brown, Channel 4 News.
Took part in the protests a few weeks ago to unite the United Kingdom, said that their beef was not with people who were here for legal purposes. They said that if you came here and you were working and you were contributing, that was fine for them. Does this policy almost betray British values in the sense of fairness? And fundamentally, has there been an assessment of the cost? Many people on indefinite leave, they are working, they are contributing, they are running businesses. And so has there been a factor in of what impact this could have on those people? And ultimately, does this also set up potentially a kind of Windrush scandal type fiasco, especially when you consider how integrated many of those people really are? They're in marriages, they're in friendships, they're colleagues of people. So this policy has a potential to not only unsettle deep social fabrics, but also have a huge economic impact.
The reason that people will answer that at the march or wherever else it may be, and it goes back to the first question that we had today, is there's been no debate on this, been no facts. If people are coming here working, contributing, obeying the law, not bringing dependents, not using the welfare system, then people won't have any objections because we're a fair-minded country. What they don't know, because no one's ever told them, is over half of those that come don't work and will never ever work and are a direct drain on the taxes that they themselves pay when they get up in the morning and go to work. And we're not against skilled immigration into Britain. In fact, Zia's said, of course, we want this. We want people coming in. We want bright people coming in. We want those that will contribute to our society. We will have lower skilled people on visas where there are genuine shortages in the market. We've not had the debate. And I repeat the point. For 20 years, I was told, shut up and go away, because it's good for the economy. And now we can see, not only is there a massive welfare bill, not only is there the impact on the quality of life through a population that has risen by 10 million in 20 years, but that actually, net, financially, if you look at productivity and many other measures and de-skilling of the British workforce, it's been a net loss. On the complexity of families going back, we understand that.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely understand that, and that's why we're giving people advance notice of what's coming, and this will all be in the frankly hundreds of pages of legislation that we aim to have ready should reform win the next general election. I want to go back. There was a question earlier about what's the legal basis for revoking on a retrospective basis ILRs that are already here. I want to be really clear about this. Parliament is sovereign.